Welcome back, everyone, back to another video. Today is a start to a brand spanking new series here on NHL 20 here on my channel, as today we're starting up a new franchise mode. I know, another one, as we're having an expansion draft one, as we are adding back the Quebec Nordiques back in the NHL, as they're coming into their inaugural season as a new team looking to kick some ass. But I did have a vote for who you guys wanted me to do for franchise mode, and it was a tie between an expansion and the Montreal Canadiens, which I decided that, hey, I'll do expansion because it was a tie between Montreal and Quebec, and I wanted to do someone in the East, and of course it came to a tie. So the next franchise mode after this one will be the Montreal Canadiens for sure. That will be a guarantee. I don't know if it will be a guarantee, since I did do an Eastern Conference team right now, and then I don't want to do another one back to back. But anyways, let's get to the episode here with the new Quebec Nordiques, as we're going to take a look at the uniform, just kind of go over things and show you guys the new uniform for the Quebec Nordiques. So here is the home jersey. Now you kind of need to go with kind of like the white Quebec Nordique logo here. Reason why is because the way that they just lay the logo out, the blue doesn't mix in with the background, as you'll see by the away jersey. It's more of your standard Quebec Nordique logo, but the home arena logo is just the generic logo that you always see, and that's the Quebec Nordiques logo. So that's the way that we'll be going with the rink. It could possibly change over the years when we do our franchise mode, because you can change things up. We do got to add a bunch of players onto the team, and then we can get right to the expansion draft. I've already planned pretty much majority of the team out on what we will be picking and like who will be coming to the team. Which I'm really excited to pick and stuff like that. I'll know if we're going to get past the draft into the free agency part. We'll see how long this video goes for and how long the expansion draft goes. But the offseason will be coming either this video or the next video. But I feel like just getting the team and getting my feet in the ground is probably the best idea here for the Quebec Nordiques. It's a brand new start. It's the current rosters, so I know there's going to be some prospects that are not going to be in here. I'm too lazy to add that stuff, nor do I have enough time to go and actually spend my time finding all the players and creating all of them and stuff like that. I'm too busy in college to do all that. I'm sorry, guys. I would totally do it, but I just got no time sometimes. So, Quebec Nordiques, we're just going to keep the Burnaby Aces, our AHL team. That won't really matter. We're not going to be in the Central Division. We're going to swap divisions with the Detroit Red Wings. The Detroit Red Wings will be going back to the West, and we'll be going into the Atlantic Division. Makes most sense. We could have a competitive rivalry against the Montreal Canadiens, hopefully. So no owner mode just like before. We don't want to do that shit. Computer traits, player morale, salary cap, all that stuff will stay the same. We got to get to the rules, accessibility. I don't think we can really edit anything in that menu. Advanced settings. Everything should be good there. Gameplay sliders. Yes, we do need to edit that. To injury occurrence to 25. We can much worry about this later on. I don't think that's really all we got to do for adjusting the settings. I think we're all good to go. So let's jump right into this with your Quebec Nordiques. Yes, we're going to keep salary cap on. It's the most realistic way to go. I always remember my buddies. I always used to play franchise mode with some of my buddies, and I would go the realistic route, right? Building my team through either prospects or doing smart deals. My buddies would just pick up the best players and try to make the best team ever, like a dream team. And I always thought that was boring as fuck, because you're just winning so many cups so easily. And they would lie to me like, yeah, I got like Tyson Barrett, I got Crosby, McDavid all on the same team. I'm like, okay there, buddy. I don't think the salary cap would be able to afford that, but okay. All right, so let's get back on the main topic of things. The Quebec Nordiques says we're picking number 2. That is perfect. Number 2 overall, we're going to be selecting in this upcoming draft. So that really sets us up. Let's take a look at the draft board before we jump into things. But Kirill Marzaro, centerman there, is up for selection. I don't know why the menus are being so fucking slow right now. Jesus Christ. It is being slow as molasses. So, We got Zemenov, left winger, and then we got Vitaly Vizinovsky, and then Moraza. He's kind of a high top six, a guy that's not. Your guy is probably going to be Vitaly Vizinovsky is going to be your guy that we're definitely going to go after, just because of the fact that, I mean, he could probably be a centerman. Well, with the way that he's a two-way forward, right winger, he could probably be the centerman of the future here for the Quebec Nordiques. But we're not going to worry about that right now. We're going to get this expansion draft done. Then we will focus on the draft, because we really won't be able to do anything in this draft. We're not going to be trading after any picks in this draft. Next year's draft, yes. So, here we go. Here's the start of everything. So, we're going to start things off with the Anaheim Ducks. They got a couple players. Adam Marique, Andre Casa, Jake Kapaka, and then also Jacob Larson. Through a lot of thinking, I decided to go with Adam Henrique to kind of be that first-line centerman for the Quebec Nordiques. He's a Quebec boy. He would be perfect to bring in to the Quebec Nordiques. Then we need a superstar, which is pretty self-explanatory. I even threw up a vote on my Facebook page that I have, or through the Facebook page that I'm on for Franchise Mode. I asked who they wanted me to pick. Taylor Hall was a dead state fucking obvious pick. I think there was like 28-7 votes for other players. So Taylor Hall, hopefully he signs with the team, but that means we already got established two good forwards to help out the the Quebec Nordiques. Now, I know Torrey Krug is also in this situation where, hey, that would be a perfect guy to pick up, but I don't want to bring in too many guys where we're going to have to sign expensive contracts too. I want some young guys mixed in with some older guys, and this is a perfect player for our team. Jacob Forsback at Carlson, he's going to be a nice depth piece. I know how he develops, and he develops very, very good, so that's why we're picking him. Next up, Jake McCabe. He's a nice, cheap defenseman, top 6. Could possibly jump up to be a top 4 defenseman, 2.85. There's nothing really else from the Buffalo Sabres that we could really pick up. So Jake McCabe is the selection from the Buffalo Sabres, already spending $12 million. Now we do got to be careful because of the fact that we also go to sign Taylor Hall. Is going to be another worry, but we're going to worry about that much later on. Then we also see some selections here for the Calgary Flames. They got Mikael Backlund, TJ Brody, Giordano. They got some prospects as well, and Sam Bennett, Clinton. They had a couple selections, and I decided that Mark Giordano is the best idea. Why? He's going to be a perfect captain. I mean, he's going to be that guy that's going to be a solid defenseman for you for the next little bit, maybe 1 to 2, 3 years of his contract that he has left, right? He could be that top 2 defenseman. He could take some of the younger players that we're going to have on the team, like a Jake McCabe, like a Carlson, and help them out a little bit, kind of come into the NHL. He's going to be our future captain of the team. Next up, we decided to go, I think, with Hayden Fleury will probably be the best bet for the Quebec Nordiques. Low elite defenseman, nice prospect. Hopefully can develop into a very nice defenseman prospect for the team. Up next, Ian Mikoshin. Nothing really to choose from the Chicago Blackhawks. And really, Ian Mikoshin, he was wide open to go for, so we decided to go with him. Colorado, I decided to go with Valeri Nikushkin, a guy that can hopefully maybe develop into some third-line depth and maybe a second-line depth, somebody that we could trade in later on future. Now, I was going to go with Josh Anderson for some depth from the Columbus Blue Jackets, but it looks like he has not shown up, and Gustav Nyquist has shown up on the board, so that was a little bit different than when I pre-scouted, so we're going to have to go back to Columbus later. Just for right now, we're going to pick some random player, and we will go from there. So Bjorkstrand will just be our test guy. We'll go from there and see who we want to pick up. Next up, we got the Dallas Stars. I decided that Denis Gurianov, probably the best selection from this team. I mean, you look at everyone else. They're expensive, plus they really don't got very much potential, but Denis Gurianov has the best chance to turn into somebody good. Detroit, I decided to pick up a prospect from this team since there's really no one to go after, and we went after Evgeny Shinenkov. I don't know how to say his name properly, so sorry for butchering it. The Edmonton Oilers, I've decided to go with Adam Larson. There's nothing really from Edmonton. From selection-wise, the only open guy really is Adam Larson, so Adam Larson is the clear Clear pickup, kind of giving us that nice defense core. If you already look at the defense core, where the fuck that is, gives us a nice setup already. Giordano, Larson, McCabe, and Fleury. That gives you a nice solid defense core to rely on going throughout this season. So hopefully he could be a mainstay on our defensive core. Next up, the Florida Panthers. I don't think I made up my mind on what to do with them because there was way better defenseman than Anton Stromlin. Plus, I didn't want his expensive-ass contract. I didn't want Brent Conley because, I mean, he's expensive as well. I think we're going to I think I went with Noel Achari, but we're going to be coming back to the Florida Panthers much, much later on to figure out who we should pick from that team. The LA Kings, I was also having a back-and-forth conversation. What should we do with this team as well? I think we're just going to pick a random guy for right now and just go from there and fix things up much, much later on. I think that's going to be the plan with them. Next up, you got the Minnesota Wild. Very, very obvious pick. I mean, Jared Spurgeon, he's going to be stuck in an 84 overall, and I really don't want to be paying that much for a defenseman that might not perform as well as a top 2 guy. The clear, obvious choice is Eric Staal. It gives you another more centerman depth with Henrique and Staal, so that sets you up better for the future. You got Ilya Kovalchuk for this next selection since he's there in Montreal, but we don't want to go with him. We want to go with a nice young depth guy in Yoel Armia, who could be 3rd line, 4th line depth for the Quebec Nordiques. Next up, I was thinking of going with Nick Bonino, but there was some more better selections to go with. Plus, the Nashville Predators have a nice future starting goaltender in UC Saros, which we will be selecting from the Nashville Predators, which will be our first goalie selection as well, adding that to the list. Next up, the New Jersey Devils. They really have nobody. They have a bunch of expiring contracts, but no player that was really dropping my shorts a little bit. But Mikko Miller, best idea to go with for the New Jersey Devils. Nice young prospect from the team. Next up was the New York Islanders, which was kind of a tough team to go after because I didn't know who really to choose from. It was either Derek Brassard. I mean, we could definitely pick up Derek Brassard. He could be perfect, but he's going to be wanting a little bit more money since he's a second-line guy. But anyways, I was thinking of going with Casey Zizekas from the team. Nice defensive guy. Can be nice depth for the team. I think that's going to be a perfect selection from the New York Islanders for our team. Also, the New York Rangers, now, if I'm correct, they will be letting Henrik Lundqvist be wide open to be selected. So that will be the goalie that will be going after. He will be our starting goaltender for the Quebec Nordiques, Henrik Lundqvist. Now, coming up next, we got the Ottawa Senators, which I decided to go with Anthony Duclair. Still a young guy, 23 years old, can develop into a nice goal-scoring guy for the team. I think, in my mind, will help us out depth-wise for our team in the future. Next up, you got the Philadelphia Flyers. A lot of players to select from, JVR to Matt Niskanen to Sanheim. But like I said, we're building this team with young players, and that's Travis Sanheim fits the perfect mold for our team. Next up, you got the Pittsburgh Penguins. A couple guys from this team as well. You also got Tristan Jarry, future medium starter goaltender. But since we already got UC Saros, we really don't got to worry about that factor. So we're going to be picking Patrick Hornquist from the Pittsburgh Penguins to help build the team a bit deeper as well. Next up, you got the San Jose Sharks. We decided that the best idea was to go with Barclay Goodrow. Kind of a nice depth guy, 79 overall, power forward. Could develop into somebody, you never know. Next up, I was thinking of going with Alexander Steen. He could play on the PK, and that's the type of a guy that we're going to be needing for the future of this team. I know he's expensive for the next 1 year, I guess, but he's going to be a perfect depth guy if we're going for a playoff run. If we don't, then fuck, we could trade the guy and not be worried about it, right? So we're almost out of salary cap, but don't worry, we're going to have to get rid of a couple of players off the list. Mike Hoffman is one of them that we're going to be getting rid of off the list. So that gives us a little bit more salary cap. Now, remember, when I did make this list, I didn't really go for salary cap friendly players. I was just picking for the best that I could find from each team. So we're going to have to troubleshoot a bit with this team and play around with the salary caps and who we can keep and who we have to let go, which we will do much later on. But let's get on to Toronto. This is another team that we get a second-line player from, Kasperi Kapanen. He'll be a very nice add to the team. The Vancouver Canucks, they will add some more depth to the team. I think this team's just, we get a prospect in Nikolai Goldubin. And then the Washington Capitals, same thing. Nice prospect for the team since they really did not have anybody that we really kind of wanted. Now, actually, quick question. Can we get anybody that can give us future starting goaltenders from St. Louis? But we got Steen from there. Is there any future goaltenders that we could pick up to better replace some of our players? Stalock, you got Campbell. Nobody in Florida. Again, these are the teams that we got some pretty key picks from. I mean, Columbus are still picking from. We'll have to figure that out, who we're going to pick from Colorado there. Or who the fuck that we were picking from. Yeah, there's really nobody to go after here, ladies and gents. For goal, oh, Eric Comrie, but 80 overall. Do you really need another 80 overall goaltender unless you're trading for picks, but I don't want to worry about picks. But right now we're going to pick some more prospects up. That's where we're going to go after. Best prospect here. I really loved Garrett Pilon when I used him. But Jonas Siegenthaler, best potential player there. And then from the Winnipeg Jets, I decided to go with Adam Lowry as well, which for some reason we cannot pick him because of goaltending issues. So what we'll do is we will not pick him. We will pick Vanashek from Washington, and then we will pick Adam Lowry. So, what are we missing from the Quebec Nordiques to really finish this team off, as we have 3 more picks left? So the way that the lineups will be shaping out is Hall, Henrique, and then we'll probably have Kasperi Kapanen up on the first line. Your second line will be Duclair, Hornquist, and Eric Stahl. Your depth will be Lowry, Steen, and then you can throw even Zizekas, Guryanov, Armia. You could throw any of those guys with them. So practically we are just picking to help the team out for the future. And I feel like we pick Gustav Nyquist, and then we look at... Oh, we can't even afford Gustav Nyquist. Never mind. We could go after a nice defenseman, Marcus Nutavaro. We could afford him, plus we could just trade him away if I really don't want him on the team. They don't got any prospects, but they got guys that we can use for right now and then worry about things later, which I will do with that. Florida, they really don't got any prospects. Legit, they got nothing, so we're just going to go after... Juha Lammikko. Same with LA. We're just going to go after another prospect since we don't really have that much money left. And we also need to make money to be able to afford Taylor Hall this free agency. So let's finish off the draft. I think this is it. This is what the team we want to have. And honestly, I like the team. I like the team that we're looking at right now. And I feel like we could definitely build a good team out of this. I feel like Steen's is going to be a fucking buttload of cash that we're going to be having on the team right now. When we can have Oscar Sundqvist for much cheaper, he's probably about the same defensively. We're just picking up more of a veteran player. But I feel like since we're going so young, Oscar Sundqvist fits the criteria, and he's just going to be a better player. Then we could just go big man at the bottom of the fucking lineup, really make this team. Yep. Yeah, I'm ready to go with the Quebec Nordiques. Here is your official list of the expansion draft. What a list it is. Now let's get to the draft. Since we have some time left, we're going to get to the draft. Draft some players. We're not going to get very many good picks from it. We're also going to probably make some trades as well, which will be another big position as well that we're going to be doing. But once we get to the signing stage, I think I'll end the video here. But we'll get through the draft and see what we can find for trades. So, let's take a look at the Quebec Nordiques so far right now. We'll take a look at everything, see what we need to do. So, you got Taylor Hall, Stahl, Hornquist, for example. That might be the first line. Henrique, Kasperi Kapanen, Duclair. You got Zizekas, Lowry, Armia, Guryanov, Gouraud, Sundqvist is down here. You got some nice depth guys that we can maybe even possibly trade away. Defensively, you got Giordano, McDonough, Larson, Sana, McCabe, Nutavaro, Hayden Fleury. And Nutavaro is going to be the one guy that we're going to be trading away to a team that can afford him and that would like him on the team. Dallas Stars. Perfect. Perfect. Team that wants to do some trades, but they have no picks. So Dallas is off the board. Florida, you have no money. Montreal, you do have money. Do you have picks? Is the question. Not this year, but next year we would like some picks. I will take that. 2 seconds and a fourth for Marcus Nutavaro. No. Just 2 seconds. Will that work? No. Okay. That's what I thought. So we'll take Chicago's second. That should be worth a pretty good amount of value. You'll take a third and then a fifth and two fifths. Will that work for Marcus Nutavaro? Yes, it will. So we load up on some picks for next year, which is nice. And I feel like what we should do is trade away some of our picks this draft, because we don't really need to be super set up this year's draft. We could be more set up for next year's draft. I feel like that would definitely help us be more on a set path. I feel like, Arizona Coyotes first round draft pick wouldn't be bad for a bunch of picks and a prospect in Evgeny Chevy. Because, I mean, we already have a bunch of snipers and Gold Dubin and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind getting rid of him and picking up some picks from the New Jersey Devils. I think that wouldn't be a bad deal for the team. We load up on some more picks. We get some picks coming towards the Quebec Nordiques, which is what we want. Take up a fourth. Take off another fourth. We'll just do that straight up. All right, that sounds good. We get some more picks onto the team. We lose a bunch of picks this draft, but we gain a bunch of picks for next year's draft. I mean, we have 2 firsts now, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, fourth. We got a bunch of fifths. Yeah, we're looking perfect for next year's draft. That is absolutely perfect. Sim to our pick. And they got Zamenov, 80 overall, medium elite sniper. That will be, oh man, he has lethal goal scoring abilities. And we are going to be picking Vezhinovsky. That will be our pick, 77 overall, medium elite, who can play center. See what I said, boys? I knew I was right. And he can play centerman for our team, which is absolutely perfect. See, in Mozario, he would just be a high top 6, and then everyone just kind of downfalls from there. So we make some smart moves, getting rid of some picks, which is what we exactly wanted. Now we just pick the best players that we could possibly pick from this draft, and then just go and wait until next year's draft, because there's really nobody good in this draft anyways. It's practically just a bunch of shitty players. So we'll just sim the entire draft, get it done and over with, and then we will take a look at what the team will be looking at, and what we're going to be needing to do this upcoming re-sign stage, and also going into free agency and stuff like that, on what people we need to change up. So first guy we need to sign is Taylor Hall. That's an obvious guy that we're going to have to sign. And pretty much that's really it. Anthony Duclair we're also going to have to get onto the team, and practically from there it's simulation time, ladies and gents. It's going to be pretty quick. It's going to be the next video. We're going to get right into the simulation, right into signing everybody for this team, getting everyone configured, and salary caps adjusted, and we should be pretty much, I think, a pretty much for sure fire playoff team. I mean, you might need to improve the offense a bit, but if this offense can just click and get going right off the start of the year with Taylor Hall kind of leading the offense, I feel like we could do some massive damage going into the playoffs. But for right now, guys, I'm going to sign off. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Adios, amigos.